Woo, yo, what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. And yes, y'all will hear my guard dog in the back. Well, my guard dog's in the back acting a damn fool. But but I tell you what, this is something that a lot of you have asked me about. Going back to the old edge blood and trying to sort of get an understanding of the growth rate of the way that the dogs do. And I'll tell you, and this is Edge we're talking about, the Edge family. Typically, some of you may have seen me do a video about this before, but typically, most Edge dogs don't really look bully as puppies. If it's dominantly Edge, you have to remember the influences of Edge, whether it was Gaff or some of the other dogs. It is a very pit bull influenced, thing we have. The mixing and the hiding of the pedigrees from that avenue was more done from Gotti line, as far as with the bulldog stuff that, made their dogs a little bullier. It wasn't from Gray line. It was when it got to Gotti line. Well, the Edge dogs, your problem with the paper hanging with the Edge dogs would come because you didn't know which Edge dogs you were getting at all times. But the bottom line is the development of those puppies would always have a pit bull type look. This is one of the reasons why you would notice that people would miss on certain dogs when they were young. Some of the best dogs got sold when they were young. De Niro, who me and Danny bought, he was looked at as the runt. Whatever the case may be. He developed fully. Of course, Marco Suarez bought Paco, and they let him go. You had Fabian buying Remy, of course. We can go down the line. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of these puppies just were not like gorgeous puppies. I'm going to tell you that some of my better dogs, if you want to talk about like my boy Castro, Gannicus looked like a for real, true life pit bull. And you can go through the dogs. Paco wasn't the best looking puppy of all times, believe that. And the reason being is because those of us who did Edge blood at the time, one of the things that we always would do is we were selective breeding. So a lot of our litters would be very pit bullish. And what would happen as they started to grow, you would start to get the change up. And you would see that some of them would stay very terrier to the point that they could compete as American Pit Bull Terriers in certain registries or whatever. And then you had the ones that would get a little excessive. The bone would be bigger, the heads would pop out. They would start to get, as what we call today, bullier. So with that being said, the one thing that didn't change over the years, and I'm gonna be honest with you, is that the way that they looked as puppies really didn't change, and that made it a little more difficult to get your eyes on what you were looking at, because those ones that developed to be bullier dogs, it didn't mean that their puppies were just going to pop out bullier. So you had to learn to look for certain characteristics. Some of those certain characteristics would, of course, be the typical stuff. What I would call the chest plate, where you notice that the dog sort of has a hump in his chest. That was a good indicator that the dog was going to be a lot bullier. The bone was always an indicator. The size of the neck was always going to be an indicator, but not always, because some of them were pencil necks that developed into these massive necks. One of my favorite indicators that I would look at to pick my puppies was the size of the ears. The thing about bullies is that you never see American bully with long floppy ears. So if you seen this puppy and he had these very long ears, that head was going to grow into that puppy. That puppy was going to grow into them ears, I'm sorry. And it was like, I'm telling you, it was like batting 1,000 when I did that I would at least get that head, because they always grow into the ears, you know what I mean? But throughout the process, what happened is just a lot of people got impatient. A lot of people looked at the dogs and like, oh, I don't want that look and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to tell you, if you are getting an old school, cleaner Edge dog, it does not mean that your dog, hell, y'all seen Mandela. Mandela is a very, very bully dog, but at the end of the day, Mandela had that same look when he was a puppy. Damn near looked like some kind of Alaskan Husky or some shit when he was a puppy. But you have to have patience with the edge blood and allow this blood to come to the point that it fully matures and gets bullied for you. If you're just looking for something that you can take puppy pics with and brag about, this is not going to be the line of dogs for you. The edge blood out of all the bully family, the real edge blood is still the cleanest and still the close to real pit bulls on steroid type of blood. Typically, edge breeders did not like wrinkles. Typically, edge breeders did not like loose skin. So it made us, stay more selective in our breeding process and stay away from certain dogs who had these features. Another thing I would tell you is that even with the Gotti line dogs, you had to do the same thing. You had to be persistent and understand that some of these dogs would grow into their look. I mentioned that they, the Gotti family, which we know were the leaders in mixing dogs into their stock. But at the same time, a lot of them did believe in breeding the right way, and they made some very, very clean and healthy bullies. And those bullies became, in the same mode of the edge dogs, to where they would be terrier at first, but then they would grow into that look. So with all that being said, I just recommend that all of you have great patience when you're getting your puppies. Trust the blood, trust the process, trust what you're seeing, and allow that dog to grow and mature into being a monster. If you do that, you'll be happy with it. But it's sort of like vice versa in some ways, because I notice a lot of the people who have super, super bully puppies, as they age, they start to fall apart. The feet splay. You start to notice bowing of certain things, whether it's the back or the legs. Just a lot of characteristics that you would not want if you want a real American bully. But with all that being said, I'm going to jump off here. The sun is killing my eyes. Until next time, much love. Peace.